Howdy folks, this is Cliff the Rocket Man doing video number 3. And my last video I painted this 228 tank. Today we're going to assemble it. But I have a particular problem. I've ran into this on a couple different lanterns. And my problem is you'll see, and this is an E, this is the same as one of that. This is just a different year, and it's the 220. But you see the emblem right there, the Coleman emblem on the E's is right here, and my valve's right above it. And then it is in between the cap and the valve. And then you notice my lever is right here. Well, when I took this other particular lantern apart, it came apart just like it is how I have it assembled here. Let me show you that. So what and when I did it threaded out of here, and I couldn't get this particular, the upper fitting off the lower fitting. In other words, the whole thing came out of the tank. Now my problem is when I put it together, normally what you would do is you would take the lower piece and you'd thread it into your tank with some sealant. And then you put your collar on, then you put your cage on, and then you would thread your upper fitting into it. And then what you would do is you'd thread your fitting down around until it was tight, until you had the proper alignment with your, and I'm going to go back to this one, till you had your proper alignment between the valve and your cleaning lever. And of course they need to all be lined up correctly here. On the newer ones, the decal would be here, and then they would put, on an F, they would actually put it on the bottom. Well, what happens when I put it together, the whole thing rotates around, and then my bottom, the lower fitting is in the incorrect spot. So what I thought I would do, and I've run into this a few times, so what I have to do is rotate this back. If I can get the fitting where I want it, the upper fitting, I have to rotate this back. Well, that loosens it up and it bothers me. I think it's going to leak is my problem. So what I come up with, and I'm sure there's other guys that have the same problem with this. So what I did is I actually assembled both my fittings first, got them lined up, and then I'm going to thread it onto the top of this. Now what I did is, and this is not my idea, so I'm going to put the tank over here so you guys can see it, I can see it. Of course I'm going to line it up. I'm going to line it up. So here's my Coleman emblem. Yep, there it is right there. And then what I'm going to do is take the collar and thread the whole thing on there because it's already tight. Now you notice I've already got my pipe sealant there. And what I did to give me enough clearance to thread the collar down without scratching my paint is I actually put a little divot. If picture this for just a second, I actually put a little divot right here and pushed the I actually just took the back of a ball peen hammer and put a little divot right where the fitting goes through the cage. What that does is that allows this to sit up just a little higher so I can thread my collar on there without, let me get this down here so I make sure you can see, without scratching the paint. Maybe I'm being too particular, but you spend so much time painting them, you want them to look good after they're done. So here we go. Hopefully this is going to work. So I'm going to flip it over. Try to keep my fingers out of the pipe sealant, and then I'm going to thread the whole thing down. I'm going to stick this in there. I've tried this before and it doesn't work on some lanterns. just because I think it's the amount of thread that's required for this to tighten it up, and the amount of threads that are required to go into the tank. So I'm going to hold this up, get this out of the way, get this over there where you guys can see, and then I'm going to thread the whole thing in there, trying to keep my plastic piece on there. If it gets real tight, I'll just pull it out and just try to be real careful with it. See, it's starting to get tight now, of course, but I think we can get another thread, a couple threads. Now it's time to pull that out. That actually worked better than I had a thicker one. Like I say, this is not my idea. I actually got this from another, maybe I'll call him a Coleman junkie. This guy fixes Coleman lanterns. He's a lot of good advice from him and, of course, other guys. Now what I want to do is I need to thread this around and tell you, I don't know, hopefully you can see it. You can't because I got my tank holder here, my strap holder, but this is where I want it to end up. Now, so I've got to thread it around and keep the collar centered on the cage and on the tank, because the tank actually has a indentation for it, so the collar will stay still. Okay, now I'm getting pretty close. Keep moving my collar around with it so you can see I am tearing off some of the paint. Why I put the divot in there is because just to keep this nut that I have right here from pushing down on the tank, or pushing the collar down onto the tank. Now here we go, and oh, we got to go some more. It's definitely still loose. I'm kind of peeling some paint off, so this probably didn't work as good as I wanted it to, but it's just an old lantern too. But I've got my nut all the way to the top, so I can't really go I can't go down anymore with this fitting. So we're just going to have to spin it around there like this. We're getting closer. Actually, what I should do is leave the collar right where it's at. Well, no, you got to spin it with it. And then if you spin this around, well, by God, it's got to go another turn at least. This not getting tight yet. Got to go some more. Probably one more. So what I'm going to do is I've got the tool right here, this special tool. I'll put that over the top of it. But what I need to do, on advice of other people, is I need to put this fitting on it, my generator fitting, so it doesn't mess those threads up. And then what I'll do, make sure this is still aligned, which it is. I'm going to spin that around, keep the bail up out of the way. This has to come over and line up right here. So, and it's getting pretty snug now, so I think I'm getting pretty close. If this wasn't in the way, I could put this in there and protect this particular part where the, let's see, what is this called? The cleaning lever. Put that in there also, but I've got too many things going on here. Okay, now we're getting pretty tight. And let's see here. Actually, I really don't need this. I've got just enough. There we go. Okay. And probably just a little bit more. Now, that is lined up with the center of the Coleman emblem, my valve is. Now I'm going to turn my collar till it's straight, and then if I did everything right, I'm going to pull this off, get it out of the way. Now when I rotate this around, my one of the bars, uprights, or a bar, needs to center over the valve, and then this, my cleaning lever, will go through the notch and thread right in there, which it did. So there's how to do that. It did scratch my paint a little bit but I don't know how else to do that. But I think it was easier than trying to thread the bottom piece in and then trying to thread it in, because there's nothing to hold on to except for the valve. So I'm going to assemble it a little bit more because everybody knows how to do that. This is the most difficult part for me, and then I'll show you the finished product. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay, Cliff back again. I went ahead and tightened up my nut right here. I like to use the old mil-spec wrench. It works pretty doggone good. This is a pretty handy tool for, unfortunately they're about 30 bucks, but it'll help you out. Keeps you from damaging this here. I put my air tube in, and then my two, I guess we'll just call them mantle tubes. Now if you compare the let's see here, make sure, well, here, let's bring them a little closer here, like that. And if you look at those, here's the two E's side by side. Everything is lined up where it's supposed to be. I can see why these chip, because you're really, when you tighten this step down, you're putting a lot of force right here. Now, and look at this one, it's not chipped at all, but it's just the way this one's built. Anyway, everything's lined up. It looks really nice. It makes me want to redo this one, but this is one of those, it's so nice you really don't want to take it apart. Besides, somebody else has already signed the thing anyway. So anyway, and then we'll throw the globe on there, and I got myself a little 228 here, that, and put the nut on. All I need to do is fuel it, put some mantles on it, and I got another lantern. Anyway, that's all I got today. Hope that helps somebody else. Helps somebody out. It was good too for me to talk about it anyway. And hi, Aaron. Anyway, that's it. Cliff out.